We're going to do a dessert today. My mother used to make it on occasion, a Deżerta, Mkemmxa, or Wrinkled pastries. You start with some Phyllo dough, as you see here, and then we're going to hold it by one end and wrinkle it, and I'll show you the end product when we do that. You want to make sure you use two thin slices of Phyllo, because if you use three, it'll be too hard. We want to put a custard on top of this. So use two, and I'll show you in a minute how the crumpled looks. I mean, you can do it like this. I mean, you can just roll it if you want. You don't have to crinkle it. Rolled is just as fine. This is how the crinkled looks, and we're going to just move that in. So this is just the first part of a four-part process. Be back in a second. As you can see, I have the oven going. I've set it at 350 Fahrenheit, which is 176 Celsius. And here is the crinkled Phyllo. Now we're going to put this in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes until it starts to firm up. While the Phyllo dough is in the oven, getting crisper, we're going to take 2/4 sticks of butter, and we're going to melt that down. Now comes the custard part, and we're going to use 4 eggs, and we're going to combine that with 1 cup of sugar, 128 grams, and we're going to add some vanilla to this, about a tablespoon or a teaspoon, what you prefer. And to make the custard rich, we're going to add some cream. I'm going to beat that into a fine custard. You could use a hand mixer if you'd like. This is just so much easier. I have my melted butter, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour this mixture on the crinkled Phyllo. And then I'll use a brush to make sure that it's evenly distributed. Back into the oven it goes at 350 or 176 Celsius, and we're going to leave it there for another 15 minutes. While the dough with the butter is firming up, we're going to take 2 cups of nuts. Pistachio is actually preferred, but we're going to use mixed nuts today. That's about 400 grams of nuts, and we're going to grind that up until a powder. Now be careful when you're grinding nuts, you don't want to make it into a peanut butter-like paste. And the dough is still on its second bake, and while it has been baking, I've got the custard ready, I've got the chopped nuts ready, and now we're going to make the last ingredient. We're going to put about 96 grams, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and we're going to put some water in it, I'm using ice water. You don't have to if you don't want to. And then you want to stir that in. You don't want there's some nut flakes in there, and that's okay. You don't want to make it too thick. You know, you want kind of that consistency, because this is going to help. This is going to be the glue, along with the custard and the nuts, on top of the pastry. Pastry out of the oven, and the next step is to put the custard on top of it. Don't worry about the custard appearing to be watery, because this is going to firm up when we put it back in the oven. This is going to be a delicious custard. And then, of course, what you want to do then next is make sure you have a brush to evenly distribute that custard. It's okay if you have a little on the sides like that. It's going to be yummy. You can smell the vanilla. I don't see a need. Some people like to put cinnamon in there. I don't see a need to do that. I think the problem with cinnamon is that it takes away from the Mediterranean flavor of this dish. There we go. So what we want to do next is take the Phyllo custard. I'm going to put it back in the oven. And now we're going to leave that there for about 30 minutes until the custard firms up. Oh, that's starting to look good. This is the kind of browning that we hope to get. You can see the custard is forming there very, very nicely. This is the kind of consistency that we want when we take it out of the oven. Again, we got one more phase to go through, and that is, there's some nut flakes in there, but we're going to sprinkle now this sugar mixture. We'll give it a stir. The sugar is going to be the glue. Okay, here we go. It's kind of sugar water. Don't be afraid. We're going to put this right back into the oven again. This is more of a glue-like thing for us. Get a little bit more of that sugar base on there. Oh, the smell of the aroma of the custard is just amazing. Just amazing. We want to have it that kind of a consistency, otherwise the nuts won't stick. We'll get to the nuts in a minute as soon as we're done with this. And then I have my brush here. And again, we want to brush this so that it's even. Oh, the smells are just delicious. It smells so delicious. You got to try this recipe. Okay, now it comes for the nuts. I'm going to sprinkle these on. I like them. I don't want to make a paste. Part of the problem with making this with nuts is that you overgrind the nuts and you get kind of a peanut butter. You don't want to do that. If there's some big nuts left in there, that's okay. Nuts are healthy. I'm not so sure how healthy this snack is, but it is sure delicious. And then we'll go ahead and spread those nuts around. Spread the richness of that so that it's even. Boy, this is going to be good. And that's how it should look. Okay. Now this is going to go back into the oven for another 15 minutes. We took it out of the oven after about 15 minutes. You can see how crispy and nutty that looks. And we're going to do one more thing. We're going to sprinkle a little powdered sugar over the top to make it extra delectable. You want to let this set at least an hour or two before cutting into it. I think that, it will help the crispiness to just let it set. You can cut it easier as well. So there's our cooled Deżerta Mkemmxa. And if you use strawberries, it makes it extra delectable.